Hey, welcome here. It's back to AMAI with Chris and
And
Justin.
it's Chris and Justin never screws that up. He always gets it right. Uh,
That's my professional radio voice.
all right. So, one of the things we've been doing is basically over the course of the day, I consume the internet, right? So I have hundreds and hundreds of RSS feeds that I've collected over the years, including Hacker News. And
Yep.
so I see lots of and product hunts, right? So between those two things, you see a lot of the weird tech stuff. So I send links to Justin over the course of the night. And then the next morning, he gets to see them for the first time with the audience. So the
Yes.
first link is Ubique Live. And
All right.
Ubique Live is for salespeople. You record a message of you
Mhm.
sending a personalized video to someone. And then, just like a mail merge, you delete where you say the person's name or the company or whatever you're dealing with, and you merge that in, and so you add variables, and then
Interesting.
and so it's a mail merge for videos, and it's relatively, it's a relatively simple concept. Personalized videos definitely perform better, right? So I think you can click the how it works, probably the same thing as what you're seeing now, but over on
Yeah.
the how it works, yeah.
Same
So
page.
conceptually, this is how this works, and it's a very good and easy process. Love you. Have a good day at school. Sorry. And I think the pricing is better than a lot of the other places that I've looked at. Right. So, three different
Yeah.
clones for your company with five different video templates, and you can have 500 videos generated a month for $99. So,
Mhm.
500 personalized outreach emails with a video targeted to the person you're targeting
For
for
$100 a month.
$100.
I mean, it's hard to believe that you can't make that convert to at least cover its cost.
Correct. And at 199, by the way, with 1,500 videos, if you're selling a $10,000, ticket, and you have 1,500 customized videos that you're actually sending out, you would anticipate booking some sales calls, right? So
Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
a really super interesting way, and it's a very,
It is.
again, some more niche than the general AI we talk about, but it's like this is super useful stuff.
It is really useful. It reminds me of what was that one that we looked at a couple weeks ago where you would record a video and then you could write a script and it would just like make the video of you.
And that
What
one
was
was
that?
really cool, and I can't remember its name. However, it was
Yeah,
super pricey.
it was.
It
It
was
was.
very
Yes.
pricey. And so the reason why I
Yes.
thought this was interesting is the price is so affordable.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. I love it. This is a great one. So if you're in sales, keep this in mind. This one could be really useful for you. Let's go look at the next link here. This is a paper navigating the jagged technological frontier, field experimental evidence of the effects of AI on knowledge worker productivity and quality. Interesting. Okay, so somebody is studying the impact of AI on knowledge workers.
And by the way, just so we're clear, this is Harvard and University of Pennsylvania, Wharton and MIT, right? These are real people, and Boston Consulting Group. And so now I'll let Justin take a quick look at the abstract, and I think it's super interesting.
I'm not going to read this. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to summarize it for me.
Yeah, lazy
What's
bastard.
important about this? Hmm. Significantly more productive. Suggested while AI can greatly assist in many tasks, there's still some areas where its capabilities are limited. Study found that for certain tasks deemed outside the AI's current capabilities, consultants using AI were less likely to produce correct solutions. I mean, that seems self-evident, right? Kind of seems obvious.
I like
Interesting.
so number. I actually go back to number four. I mean, the summary is longer than the actual content, but
Yeah.
centaurs versus cyborgs. I think you'll appreciate this. Read this with me.
Oh, this study identified two distinct patterns about consultants integrated AI into their work. Centaurs dividing and delegating tasks between themselves and AI, and cyborgs integrating the workflow complete with AI. Finance is important is to shed lights on how humans could best collaborate with the AI system. That's really interesting. Centaurs and cyborgs. That's really interesting. I would love an example. And
And
it's probably in the paper, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. And so what they found is that different people
Mm,
perform better. And in the tasks where AI was less performant, the overall quality actually decreased relative to the baseline. Because people now were dragged down by AI. But generally they were
interesting.
improved. And so it was this idea of understanding what to give to AI, and like what it would be good
Yep.
at. So
So this is interesting. Like, look at this. I mean, it's going to read a little bit of this detail here. For each one of a set of 18 realistic consulting tasks within the frontier of AI capabilities, consultants using AI were significantly more productive. Completed 12.2% more tasks on average, right? So you can get now more than 10% done in a day. 25% more quickly, right? So now you can get 10% more done and do it faster and produce, and this is the important part, significantly higher quality results, more than 40% higher quality compared to a control group. That is incredible. I'd like to know how they measured that, but that's a remarkable level of improvement. 40% increase in quality while reducing speed time by 25% and increasing throughput by 10.
I
That's
actually I think the
insane.
next sentence is the most important sentence.
All
So
right. Consultants across the skill distribution benefited significantly from having AI augmentation, with those below the average performance threshold increasing by 43% and those above increasing by 17%. Interesting. So this brings the low players, the C players, up to the Bs and close to the As. And the A players, it kind of gives them a little nudge, but it's really helping to shore up the bottom part of the workforce.
and what have I always said? It's about enabling everyone to go to the next level, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This is the rising tide.
this
This
is
is the rising tide.
yeah. And what's interesting, and I think it's important to note, is the 758 consultants they talked about here all work for Boston Consulting Group. And for those who don't know, BCG is one of those firms where the MBAs go after you get your MBA. It's one of those places you go to make your name, right? Like it's a very famous, high quality consulting group. And yes, they're going to have people at different levels, but generally getting in already means you're above the norm for human expectations in the United States, right?
Yep.
So anyway, uh,
Interesting.
this is I think one of the first ones I've looked at where they weren't looking at like simple tasks, like something a consultant at the BCG group is working on is going to be something that's relatively important, high paid,
Yep.
high dollar, high value stuff. And it
Yep.
brought the lowest tier up higher, and the higher tier still went higher on the tasks that it could work on. All right, so that was that one, and I think my next link is not necessarily AI, but it is around AI and the conversations we've been having over the last couple of days about hardware. So Rith's law says that software is getting slower more rapidly than hardware becomes faster. So the joke is you need more processing power to open Slack, right? Than you did to run the spaceship. And it's because we create these abstractions
Yep.
which allow developers to be more effective, but
Yep.
they actually are way slower than if you wrote lower level code.
Right. Because you have to go through all the translation layers.
Because you go through multiple translation layers. Exactly.
Yep.
So there's this concept. And if you scroll through this, and by the way, this is if you remember, I was trying to remember the name of the law. And I was like, there's a law about hardware.
Oh, Moore's law.
Well, no, I was like, there's a law about software that it complements Moore's
Oh,
law.
worse law. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so Wirth's law complements it, but there are actually two more laws that get called in from this. And this is a great article, but I won't meet him right here.
Okay. Gates law. Interesting. This is like an inverse of Moore's law.
Mm-hmm.
Speed of software halves every 18 months, while Moore's law states that the power and cost, the power doubles while the cost halves of hardware, generally speaking. And May's law, software efficiency halves every 18 months, compensating Moore's law. There we go. Interesting.
And
Interesting.
and by the way, look at the computer scientist joke version of Wirth's law right below it.
What Intel giveth, Microsoft taketh away. Boy, if that's not a true fucking statement.
uh,
That's amazing.
yeah. So those are the links that I had to send to you relevant to the AMAI today. I don't actually have anything else. But I this was a fun little episode, and it plays pretty nicely off of the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff. I think the study about productivity really important. We see more and more of that. There's going to be more folks. PwC is going to do a study like that. Forrester is going to do a study like that. Everybody's going to do a study like this in the next year. So I really can't wait to see how that pans out. And remember that we're still like very early days, right? Like we don't have a lot of penetration in this AI stuff, even though we talk about it all day, right? I talk to people all the time who are like, what do you mean AI? They've never even heard of ChatGPT, right? Like, I mean, so even though there's like already these massive increases in efficiency and productivity, it's still at a very small, in a very small concentrated group right now, right? And I would submit that it's still somewhat rudimentary. We'll probably see those numbers like double and triple as the technology gets better. We see ChatGPT 5 come out, we see more models come out, that kind of thing. We're going to see both those numbers go up and the expansion of that into the marketplace a lot more. And that's what's going to precipitate this massive change in the workforce that we're talking about.
100%. Yeah, no, I think this one is super interesting. And it's, again, if you're watching this and you run a company, you have like 5 years to build your brand and grow to aggressively and take advantage of these things before everyone does.
Yep.
So it's an interesting time, and have fun today.
Pretty awesome. All right. Good stuff, Chris. Thanks for sharing.